Hello and thanks for checking out this video. First, a quick introduction. If you have any questions about this research assignment, don't hesitate to contact your professor, David Nackley. His email is dnackley@mvcc.edu or visit him during office hours in Payne Hall, room 328. My name is Jocelyn Ireland. I'm a librarian on the Utica campus of MVCC. Typically, you'll find me in the Learning Commons or in the campus library in Payne Hall. I'm available to help you with research, formatting your papers, setting up tutor appointments, or with citations. The purpose of this video is to discuss how to find quality sources for your English 102 research paper. The big takeaways will be why you should use the library website for college research, how to find the course guide for this assignment, and effective search strategies to find scholarly sources. But if there's one thing I hope you take away from watching this is to speak up if you're struggling. There's a support network at MVCC to help you. There are writing tutors to help you with writing, advisors to help you overcome personal challenges, librarians to help you with research and citations, and your professor, of course. We all want you to succeed. Let's move on to the assignment. Be sure to look over the assignment description carefully to find out what the expectations are of Mr. Nackley. Here's a brief overview. This is a 6 to 8 page research paper on a writer, artist, or musician that shares your ethnic background. You do need to get your topic approved by Mr. Nackley before doing a rough draft. You have to include biographical information, background about what was going on in the country and time period that this person lived, the medium your person worked with. If they were an artist, include images of artwork in your paper with a caption, themes of their work, what the work was in reaction to, and why you chose this person. You have to use at least 4 scholarly sources for this paper. This means books or peer-reviewed journal articles from the library website. Any questions about expectations should be directed to Mr. Nackley. Let's move on to researching. Your instructor is expecting you to use the library website to find most, if not all, of your sources. But why? Why not just use Google? The first most obvious reason not to solely use Google for college papers is because there's a lot of misinformation out there and content created by uncredible sources. It can be hard to sift through all the junk to find the real treasure. Even if you're great at evaluating research results and identifying credible sources, not all information is available online. If you only use Google to do academic research, then you're really limiting yourself. The open web has a lot of information, but doesn't have everything. Much of human knowledge and scholarly published information is not on the open web. Some of you may be familiar with Google Scholar, which is helpful to identify scholarly sources. But even if you're using Google Scholar, most of the sources will be behind a paywall. Quality scholarly research is rarely given away for free. Let's jump into researching for this paper. If you don't know who you want to write about, then it's totally fine to get some ideas from Google. Look up famous writers or musicians or artists from the country that your ancestors came from. Just keep in mind that the person has to be very famous in order for a substantial amount of research to be written about them. If you pick someone not very well known or just recently popular, you're going to have a hard time finding scholarly sources about that person. Once you have a possible topic in mind, then it's time to go to the library website to start your research. From the college homepage, go to Academics and then Libraries. A good place to start your research is the main search box on the library homepage. Enter your topic. When searching on the library website, just use keywords and connect them in a meaningful way. I'm just going to start with my person, and I'm going to look for a biography. Go over the basics about this person's life. This main search box is going to come up with a variety of material types. You're going to get journal articles. Some of them are going to be peer-reviewed. Some of them are not. You're going to get physical book records from the library. You're going to get videos, some available in the library and some available online. If you'd like to narrow down your results by material type, on the left-hand side, go to Material Type and choose whatever type that you're looking for. At the beginning of your research, it's a good idea to find some books on your topic. So I'm going to select Books. This will bring up both ebooks and physical books in the library. You can tell which ones are ebooks by those that are available online, and the physical books will tell you which library it's available in and the call number. The call number is the location on the shelf of the book. A librarian is always happy to help you locate a book on the shelf, so don't hesitate to ask. If you click on the title, you can find out more information about the item. If it's a physical book, at the bottom you'll see a virtual browse, which you can scroll through and see other items that are located near this book on the shelf. A cool feature about this new website is that you can sign in to your library account to put holes in items. To sign into your library account, use your M number and your 6-digit PIN number. This is the same login you use for SIRS. After you've logged in, there'll be a link to place a hold. Placing a hold just means that the item will be removed from the shelf for you and held behind the circulation desk. So you can choose which library you'd like to pick it up from, and then you can send the request. If this item is checked out, you'll be notified when it becomes available. You can remove filters by clicking on the X on the left-hand side of your active filters. Your instructor has requested you to use scholarly sources. Not all items in the library are considered scholarly. Physical books and peer-reviewed journal articles. So if you want to narrow your results to online peer-reviewed journals, select peer-reviewed journals. I'm going to change my search terms up a little bit, and I'll add the words impact or influence. It's a good idea to change your keywords around to expand your search. Some ideas of different keywords includes the type of genre that this person worked with, or a famous work that they did, or a theme that was common throughout their work. So starting out with a biography or a brief overview about the person is a good idea at the start, so you get some ideas of different keywords you can use to find other sources. I'm going to click on peer-reviewed journals again to narrow my results. There's also a link further down where you can load more sources. Once you find something that looks interesting to you, click on the title. Often there's a description, which is a short summary of the article to give you a better idea if it's relevant to your research. Online articles will list databases where this article is held. Just click on the database and you'll be directed to your article. Now if you're off campus, it'll ask you to sign in. This sign-in is different than that of your library account. To view articles from off campus, sign in with your MVCC username and password. It's usually your first initial, last name, day of birth, and the password is the last 4 digits of your social security number or M number. It's the same login you use to student email, campus Wi-Fi, or Blackboard. Once you're in the database, you should see either the article itself or a link to the PDF full text. It depends on which database you use. EBSCO databases all look pretty similar, so they all have a PDF full text link. So here we have the article. You can zoom in on it. Here's some tools on the right-hand side. You can download it and save it to your student account, print it off, save it to a Google account, email it, and this button is special. You can create a citation. So that's a huge benefit with using library resources. So I'm going to click on the citation button. In EBSCO, it lists several different citation styles. So I'm going to scroll down till I find MLA, which is the type of citation style you're expected to use in English classes. So what I usually do is I just copy and paste it and put it either in an email to myself or a Word or a Google Doc, just so I save it. You don't want to leave citations till last minute and try to track them down later on. So always try to save your citations. It'll save you time. I'm going to exit out of here. So after you've tried some different search terms in this main search box, go back to the library homepage. Now that main search box searches a lot of different resources, but it doesn't search everything the library has access to. So your class is a little special. You actually have a course guide for this specific assignment, and not all classes do. To get to the course guide, just scroll down, select Research Guides. On the right-hand side will be a box for course guides. Click in the empty box, select English courses, and go. We're in English 102, so I'm just going to hover over EN102 and then select your instructor, D. Nackley. This course guide will have the assignment description, links to several different databases, a librarian's contact information, a citation guide, and also a link to a sample MLA paper. And I've also put in an example of how you would caption an image, because if you're doing an artist, you're supposed to include images of their most famous works. You'll want to try searching in many different databases, because different databases are going to provide access to different journals. I've compiled a few that I find most helpful for this particular assignment. But you can find a list of all of our databases from the library homepage through the A to Z databases link. But the library subscribes to over 100 different databases, so I've kind of grabbed a few that I find most helpful for this research paper. The Search Almost Everything box, that's the same search that's on the library homepage. Academic Search Complete, that's a good general database that covers a lot of different topics. Humanities Source is a good database to find articles on authors and literary themes. Literary Sources, that's a great database if you're researching literature and authors. So I'm going to go in there. And just like before when we had to sign in if we were off campus, it would ask you to sign in also to access this database if you're off campus. So here I'm going to search for my artist. It automatically opens up to literary criticisms. On the right hand side you can see other types of articles. There's also biographies and overviews of specific works. I'm going to focus on literary criticisms. So all these sources give the title, the author, and where it's coming from, as well as when it was published, and a very short snippet of what's contained in the article. In this database, you can also limit down to peer-reviewed journal articles, just to be on the safe side if you want something to count towards one of your scholarly sources. So just like before, just click on the title and it'll link you to the full text. This database also has a citation creator titled Citation Tools, and it went straight to the MLA style. Just make sure you proofread these because they're not always done 100% correctly. Just depends on how well the data was entered into the item's record. A librarian or writing tutor are happy to help you proofread these citations. I'm going to go back to the course guide. If you're researching an artist, you'll be expected to include images of their work. So ArtStore is a good database to find images. If you plan on downloading an image, you do have to register for a free account. And you do have to be on campus in order to save images from this database. A nice thing about this database, it also creates a citation for you. So as mentioned earlier, there's a citation guide available. So your citation is really going to depend on what type of source you're using. If it's an article you found in the library database, you can click on that and it gives an example of what the citation should look like. And if it's a physical book, it'll also give you a template, an example, and some things to look out for as well. Thanks for bearing with me to the end. You should have learned some helpful strategies to research on the library website for your English 102 research paper. Just remember that there are people at MVCC available to help, whether you're an online student or on campus. Don't hesitate to ask librarians or writing tutors or your professor for assistance. Hang in there and good luck with your project.